Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse, and it's my great pleasure to bring you a commentary today. And it's called, I know, wait for the drum roll, There's No Such Thing as the News. Now, I know many of you who may be watching this may say, what? What is she talking about? But it's not for clickbait. There really is no such thing as the news. Now, why would I say that? With all these news stations around, I want you to consider the possibility that of all the possibilities, all the choices, hundreds of trillions of events that are happening all over the world, in each state, county, country, nation, there's a very, very tight, small bandwidth of content and events that are being brought to us. And the question I have is, who's deciding what events are of import to us? Who's making those decisions, what we should see and hear, and the way the commentaries follow that? What are the images that we are supposed to hear and see? Who's making these decisions? Are you telling me that of the trillions upon trillions and quadrillions or more of events that are of import in everyday life, that what we're being transmitted to is news? Who says it's news? Who says that breaking, a dog got run over by a bus on 3rd Street? Breaking, there was a murder down the street. 2 guys raped a woman. Breaking, such and such country bombed X. Breaking. Who's making these decisions? Who is infusing the public mind with events and images and commentaries that have nothing to do with uplifting the human spirit, capturing the good, capturing important events that are never being covered? Did you know that in 2019 that Botswana reversed the ban on hunting elephants? Did you know that? Did you know that the elephant population is in peril, that we may never see these beautiful beings again? No, what were you hearing? Maybe you were hearing some other drama going on. Is that important to you, that our species are being annihilated? Where did I find out about that? Someone made a tweet about it. We didn't hear about it on the mainstream news. We didn't hear about it at all. Did you hear that there are breakthroughs in magnetics, and that through magnetics we could possibly and very likely transform the whole electrical grid? You don't hear about it because it's deliberately being not transmitted to us. There's no such thing as the news. There's programming, there's opinion, there's calculated commentary to keep you afraid and scared to death so you can't think and process with a strong mind, body, and spirit. Is there such a thing as the news? Really? And I love my father, Lloyd Greenhouse, and I sat in the bedroom with him as he watched the commentary, and I turned to my father, who really loved the news, and I said, why do you believe this stuff? There hasn't been enough forensic examination of anything. There's no examination of the crime scene. Why are you buying this story? And he turned to me and he said, because it's the news, Kim. And I said, well, what is that? What is the news? It's somebody's agenda for your mind, your body, your spirit, your sensibility, your ability to function in the world. It affects your strength. It influences you in ways you can't imagine. Is that news? How about just reporting the facts? What's on the ground? What was found? We got commentary, not facts. There's no such thing as the news. It's a commentary with some facts. And we've been buying it and sipping it and ingesting it for over 50 years. The Broadcast Board of Governors has been running news and the AP all around the world. And if you don't think there's no coordination of what we receive, you're in la la land. We are the recipients of deliberate manipulation, scare tactics, fear-based porn that is unbelievable. And anything that can mess with your ability to process mentally and emotionally, you have to guard yourself against. This is not news. This is propaganda. This is commentary. We don't get news. It's somebody's opinion. It's somebody's agenda being transmitted to us. And I don't care what you call the station. It doesn't matter. This side, whatever. If it's advertising driven, you can't have real news. You can't. You're at the mercy. You're captured. You are engulfed with an agenda of the advertisers, which are central to this organism that we call news stations. Now, they're doing perfectly what they're supposed to do. They are propaganda arms, all of them. They're transmission arms of groups of people that want full control and capture of the world mind. Truly. Just look at the AP. I asked to do an interview with them. They ran from me. They wouldn't give me the time of day. I want to know, how are you structured? What are you doing? Who announces to you? Where are you getting the announcements from? Who are you taking direction from? The Associated Press. If you don't think things are coordinated and centralized about the information flow of the world, you haven't been opening up your sphere of perception enough and long enough. We are not free until the ability to transmit new and ancient knowledge and discovery and breakthroughs are fully funded. Do you understand that? Do you understand that we are not free people of the world until that's possible? And so far, there is no circulatory mechanism, what you would call distribution arm, for that. It's blocked online. It's blocked at a satellite level. It's blocked all over the place. So what you need to know is this thing we call news isn't news. There's no such thing as the news. There are events and there are fascinating stories and worthy and stories of import. There's no news. It's a fiction. That's what I'm telling you. And I'm telling you that you still tune in to MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and Fox. And I'm not putting any of them down. They're not giving you news. They're giving you propaganda. They want you to feel this way or that way about this or that. I've never seen a station yet be a vortex, a space for transformation. None of them are. It doesn't matter whether you fight about the left and the right side. You're not getting it. I want you to consider that you're not getting it. You are not a free being to think, to ponder, to have critical conversation, to go into the realm of discovery until there is a distribution mechanism, a channel built for the transformation of humankind. You have nothing. Nothing. It's an ad-based propaganda mechanism to control your mind, and you're buying whatever it is that you buy, whatever it is you think, and whatever moves you make. And we haven't even talked about the fact that there's a lot of subliminal advertising that you're not aware of, because subliminal advertising is meant so that you're not aware of it happening in flickers of seconds. So if you put a phallic symbol behind a product and it flickers in and out, your subconscious receives it. Your conscious mind doesn't. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for your children. It's not okay for you. As you sit there passively taking in all this, your subconscious is taking it all in. This is about the fact that commentary is not news. Do you think a forensic examiner gives a commentary about what they found in the pathology room? They write the facts. What happened to the body? Blah, blah, blah. We don't get that. We get commentary. We get propagandized too. And as long as we passively accept this as true, whatever the news stations tell us, and whatever your proclivity is, whether it's Fox, it's this, it's that, you can't process what's happening because you're not getting what's happening. You're not allowed to get what's happening. Why select this piece of content over this piece of content? Why? Who's selecting it? Who's selecting it for what? For whom? You are completely captured when you're doing big deals with advertisers. Completely. They don't like what you said, they're pulling their advertising. You think that's the free flow of information, discovery, breakthroughs, new and ancient knowledge, and events that are worthy of transmitting to you? The news networks are a captive, hostage situation. And when the Smith-Mundt Act was changed, and I think it's between 2008 and 2012, you're allowed to run propaganda through the networks, through the intelligence agencies. Free and clear to do it. And if you don't know that, you better find out about it. So what do we got? What is it? It's a consciousness, it's an animal of a certain, it's an organism of a certain kind. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Control your mind, control your purchases, and influence you about everything. You are not entitled to be free. Do you understand that? Your freedom is of no priority to the networks. Zero. Your free will is a zero. And yet they're doing exactly what they're meant to do. And until a totally different kind of network is designed, structured, financed, there will never be freedom. Never. Never. Because you have a captured population mentally and emotionally. This is the heart of civilization, the circulatory system, the central nervous system of thought. Most people believe everything that was captured in the news. And when you get to politics, it's a total storm. And I don't want to say the word before it, but you know what I mean. It's a blank storm. Unbelievable. the capture of the human race about what did and didn't happen in 2020. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's incredible how we sit here and give up our sovereignty of being, of thought, of inquisitiveness, of creativity, of wonder, because we are accepting passively and subconsciously what is being transmitted to us. No, there is no such thing as the news. There never was any such thing as the news. However, when the news networks began, at least we got some major events transmitted. Now it's all propaganda, all of it. We're supposed to be in the land of the free. There's no structure, there's no central nervous system of support. All of the online search engines are centralized, controlled by the same groups. So you want to talk about transmitting? Who gave the internet over to Europe? Who transferred the internet over to Europe? You ever wonder that? What is going on? The civilization is lost in the incrementalism, giving away power, giving away sovereignty, giving away your basic rights to breathe easy, to have your own thoughts, to consider things, to wonder about things, to discuss things. I did a 2-hour, I don't know, it looks like a film, but it was a discussion with Dr. Edwin Vera on the Constitution, one of the great constitutional minds of the realm. Written 10 books. There is nobody on earth that possesses the inner workings of our Constitution the way this man does. It was my first time. I had never done anything like this. It was totally suppressed, censored, online. Totally. Every network, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, all of it. Can you imagine? Can't even talk about the founding document. Forget if you're on this side or that side. Can't even talk about it. Oh, no. And I'm not even politically involved. There's no such thing as the news. And as soon as you receive that with authority and accept it, you're on your way to becoming free. It's not just the news stations. It's the internet as well. The man who built the internet cannot believe what has happened to it. It is also captured, same forces. The internet is captured. There are 2 beings that are working on the new internet. I tried to interview one of them in Boston. I was blocked by his assistant. But they're coming. They're coming. And maybe if the internet has a chance to be fully expressive and for civilization to grow and evolve and transform without being controlled by the intelligence agencies and the big financiers and big business, there really is a possibility for humanity to have one of the greatest boons ever since it's been around. And technology can finally be of service. A lot of us got in innocently, fell in love with the communication capability of the internet, fell in love with the medium that it is. There's so much good about it. But it's been infiltrated. It's been captured. And now, it's no longer ours. It's no longer for the public good. And so somewhere between understanding that what's even in the newspapers and what's on the news, that there is coordinated action, there's coordinated mechanisms to make sure a certain translation of events is transmitted to us. Until you really get that, you'll never be free. Never. Even if you think you're free, you won't be. Did you hear that over 26 food processing plants were burned to the ground in the last year? Did you? Did most of you hear that? You ever wonder who did it, why they did it? Or the food shortages that are now being reported? Did you hear that Nestle's been trying to buy up all the water supplies worldwide for the last 40 years? Paying off communities in the United States to confiscate the water and make it unavailable to communities? Bet you didn't hear that. How come? How come you didn't hear that? Did you hear that microwave stations are being put all over the planet? But let's talk about the U.S. since that's where I am. People are being paid $15,000 to put their microwave stations on football fields in high schools. Did you hear that? Don't you think that's worthy of you knowing about it for your children? Didn't hear that, did you? And there's a reason you don't hear it. Because you don't have a right to know, do you understand? It's none of your business. Well, it is your business. And you have a right to know. And you have a right to protect yourself. And you have a right to know what's happening with the water supplies around you, including but not limited to the fact that we're not dependent on water in aquifers or snowmelt or the ocean. Have you heard that too? Because if you haven't, this is an example of why there's no such thing as the news. There are current events, there are discoveries, there are breakthroughs, there's exciting stories, there's important stories, but there's no such thing as the news. It's a little chop, a little slice of what somebody who's interested in controlling your mind and your purchasing habits and the way you live is deciding to transmit to you. That's what the news is. So, I want to invite you all to consider getting involved in funding and participating in setting up a new network. And when I say a new network, I don't mean another network with the same lipstick on the pig, the same type of pig, okay? And pigs are good, by the way. Well, pigs are wonderful. But the point is, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a totally different structure, a totally different funding, a totally different way that it's run, and the way it breathes life and content into the many. I'm Kim Greenhouse, and it's Rainmaking time. If you would like to talk with me about such a venture, you can call me at 626-398-8652. It's time. It's time. And we're running out of time. Thank you very much.